So I'm a pretty big guitar nerd, and one thing I like to do is take old guitar magazines that I have, and instead of throwing them away when I'm done with them, I like to cut out certain lessons that are inside the magazines, usually from various guitar players or teachers or whoever, and I like to put them in these 3-ring binders, and it seems kind of crazy, but I've got a whole bunch right here, and this is just one of many binders that I have. And so I was looking through this one the other day. I found it in the closet, and I ran into an article that Billy Corgan wrote decades ago for, I think, Guitar World magazine. And what's weird is it's pretty much the exact same topic that I wanted to make a video for. So I thought, this is synchronicity, this is meant to be, and so I had to go through with it. I also found a ton of these blank cassettes. You know, I've got bags and bags of them, and I started listening through them to see which ones I could keep, which ones to throw away. And I found just huge archives of old licks and solo ideas that I had, and I thought this ties in perfectly to the video that I wanted to do today. So how does all this nostalgia tie together to the video that I'm making right now that has to do with what our solos are missing? Let's find out. So what I was pondering all week was the idea that our solos are usually missing something. And it's so obvious that it's almost easy to miss. I know that's kind of strange. It's like when something's staring you in the face, sometimes it's easy just to look right past it. But you know, I'll see a lot of people soloing on YouTube over backing tracks and just kind of playing some licks or whatever, and that's great. And I do the same thing. I record a lot of my lick and solo ideas into my phone, or I'll sometimes use them for challenge solos on my website. So what I'll do is I'll tell you the answer, and then I'll show you 2 examples of it. One from a very famous guitar player, and then another one from my old teenage metal band, so you get kind of a contrast. So let's say somebody comes up to you and just says, hey, I wrote kind of a cool solo idea. What do you think? I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, would be like, hey, that sounded really great. You know, awesome job creating that solo and that series of licks or whatever you want to call it. But that might be the end of it. It might just disappear after that. And the person who wrote it might just be like, all right, I impressed a few people. Let's move on writing a few more licks. So that was pretty much the solo for Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. Because it lives in such a legendary song, it has a different life to it. So without the song being there, what that solo would have been missing is a home, a great song to live within. It's kind of like if you drew a really great piece of art and it was on a piece of paper and you just put it in the closet or whatever, it just kind of gets forgotten. Now, if you take that same piece of art and you put a frame around it and you hang it up in a room and it kind of completes the room, that's the difference between just having some licks and a solo floating around versus giving it a home, giving it a song in which to reside. Now, like I said, I have all these cassettes laying around of old licks and solos that I used to play, and I was listening to one of them, and it was really interesting because I was like, that sounds really familiar to me. And it was just a handful of licks that I was working on. Here's what I was doing. I was working on tap harmonics, so I did something like... I was trying to see if I could play notes and then make tap harmonics happen whenever I wanted to. And then I was doing some Kirk Hammett type licks. And then another exercise I was working on, I think it was a Paul Gilbert exercise, I was doing like this. And I was really excited about that. I just didn't know quite what to do with it. So that could have been it. Those licks could have just lived on those cassettes and collected dust like a lot of them did and disappeared into history. But instead, I happened to be in a band at the time, and our singer and guitar player Al had come up with a song called Missing Time. And he's like, well, try to write a solo to this part, let's see what happens. Our bass player Corey actually came up with a really great bass lick, and that's another thing that probably would have just disappeared if he hadn't put it in this song. So real quick, Corey did something like... And like I said, it could have just ended there. He would have just been like, oh, it'll be a cool warm-up to do or something. But because he utilized it in the song Missing Time, it became immortalized in a different way. All right, so here's the solo to Missing Time, and Corey's bass part is in the beginning, so listen for that. The whole band, in fact, was able to utilize their ideas and pull them together into something called a song. And now it lives on. I mean, I uploaded the song to YouTube and thousands of people have already listened to it. We've played that song live all those years, and the hundreds or thousands of people that heard us play it live got to hear it. So it's really great that you can give something brand new life by putting it into a song. Now, a lot of people think when I say song, I mean like you have to have vocals and a full band and all that kind of stuff. I don't mean that. I mean, think of someone like Satriani or Steve Vai or Yngwie Malmsteen. They all can put together instrumental songs that have huge impact, as much impact, I would say, as a song with vocals. You might be writing some amazing licks, some great solos, but they're just not seeing the light of day the way they could if it lived within a song of some kind. So that might encourage you to want to get together with some people, put together a project, play your music out live, record it, all that good stuff. Or it could also encourage you to maybe create the song on your own. You know, start to get into programming, maybe some drum loops or whatever, and putting it out as a fully crafted work of art versus just, you know, noodling a little bit, uploading it to YouTube and hoping for the best. All right, everyone, I hope that was fun to listen to, and I hope it triggers some ideas for you of new ways to get your solos, your licks out into the world in bigger and better ways, and I'd be really excited to see what you do with it, okay? All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.